Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Weave Best Bet Show, Spinny Saturday here on the program. We just flew Matt in from his private studio that he was doing Bet US in. Happy to have him. Thankfully, the hat functions also
Great to
as
be
a
here.
flying device, and he was able to get in for it. All excited for a big Saturday. Reminder to folks, we are announcing the winner of our Circa giveaway at the end of the show. It'll be after best bets. We got to make you hang around. It's like the NBA draft lottery. We got to do a bunch of stuff beforehand and make you watch until you actually get the real juice of it. But I'm your host, Jim Root. I'm joined by Matt Cox. I'm joined by Kai McEwen. Fellas, we are sponsored by Circa. Shout out to the best sports betting app in the game, the best place to watch games in Las Vegas. Make sure you get out there if you haven't been. We'll be out there Sweet 16 weekend. So joining us will be somebody that wins our contest. I'll get more into that, Matt, when we get to the first chat mob section, give a little more extended read there. But you tell me, do you have any great takeaways before we get into today's slate?
Uh, Not really. Dayton, I'll give you a Dayton takeaway. They don't have any depth, and it worries me. I feel like their defense is suffering, and they're gonna just run up against a team that's gonna catch them on an off shooting night, and they're gonna go down early, and it's gonna be a bummer because I was hoping this would be the Dayton redemption year after the injury ridden year they had last couple and the COVID thing, and it feels like the Flyers are gonna come up maybe a round or two short.
Yeah, they're still hurt. Bennett didn't play. Impressive they still won that game. I mean, I can't believe they won despite that. Yeah, man, conference tournaments. That's my takeaway. Every conference tournament rocks. It's just amazing watching all these games. We had some more buzzer beaters yesterday. I'm hoping for some more today. Plus, we have a great slate of non-conference tournament games, which I'm excited for as well, Jim. Let's talk some ball. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah. Hey, watch the Big South. It's been fun. Almost as fun as the ASUN. And Arch Madness unders have been awesome. 8-0 in regulation, only one overtime screwing their
Wow.
perfect record there. Had a blast betting those. Winning bets. Pretty cool. So shout out to Arch Madness unders. All right, first game of the day. UNC at Duke. Big one in the ACC. Matt, it is almost for the ACC title. It's not quite. There's a scenario where Duke wins, and then I believe it is Pitt wins and Wake Forest wins, and UNC still gets the title. So not quite for the AC title, but it's close. It is close for the one seed, at least, for a share of the title. Your Blue Devils are laying 5 at home after getting kind of smacked on the road at UNC. Total 150. What are your thoughts here?
I kind of like the under to go right to the total angle on this one. Man, I look at Duke's season to date KenPom page. Fastest game they played was against UNC, and they played Arizona
Correct.
and Arkansas. I mean, kind of crazy. I think Shire was pretty embarrassed, honestly, by their level of effort and commitment to transition. Be troublesome against UNC, who can put points on you in a hurry. I think that is this turns into more of a nip and tuck rock fighty type of affair today. I think John Shire kind of throws it back to his old 2010s roots. 30 seconds, milk clock, run sets, get shots, and make sure you don't get killed in transition. I think Duke wins. I think they cover, but I don't like it on the number. I think 4-3 would have been a little more palatable for me, Kai.
Yeah, Duke's been pretty darn good lately, fellas. If you haven't noticed, 8-1 against the spread last 9 games. They look like a title contender. Now we feel a little bit better about our futures from the summer, way back when, almost a year ago, placing a couple of Duke futures. UNC's been winning, but not covering. 3-5 against the spread last 8. Game 1, though, Matt mentioned the pace, but it was all UNC. You guessed it, Duke was 5 for 19 from 3, and we've talked about the three-point percentage luck a little bit. They smoked UNC inside, 30 for 50 from inside the arc. Kind of got whatever they want. Unfortunately, UNC got whatever it wanted offensively. That'll happen when Harrison Ingram hits 5 threes and you have an All-American point guard and an All-American center. I don't have nothing profound to say about this game, really. I sort of lean towards a Duke clapback here. And, Matt, I actually like the over in this game. I think the tempo is real. I think there are a ton of points in this one. Lean over, lean Duke.
I'm with you, Kai, on the over. I feel bad for Mr. Matthias, and hey, he's
He's the
the
Duke expert.
Dookie handicapper. Yeah, so maybe he's the one who actually knows what he's talking about. Kai, we'll just continue to spout our opinions regardless.
It's okay. I'll hear him. I'll hear him.
Yeah, mentioning Sean Stewart feels important. Russ discussing that in the chat. He played 26 minutes last game for Duke, has really emerged into a key rotation piece. Baycott completely ate in the paint last game. So adding another athletic body to compete with him, I think that's rather important. That was where he was like coming off 4 straight single digit games or whatever, and then turned it on for Duke. Might be tougher to do that this time around if Stewart is able to compete with him in the paint. 5 felt a tad high to me. I just kind of lean towards a closer game with that, but not a game I have wagered on. I have some conference futures with both teams here that I have a real convoluted hedge situation, so I will not tarry any further on this game. Instead, we'll move on to what probably is the aesthetic game of the day. That's the award I'll give it, Kai. Kentucky headed to Tennessee. Total of 167 in this one. Tennessee laying just over a touchdown, -7.5. I don't see how this isn't a track meet. I feel like Tennessee team total over is a great bet. They scored 103 the first time around. Kentucky's not going to play defense. They're not going to slow the game down. Where do you see this game going, Mr. McEwen?
Yeah. Well, first of all, Tennessee, congrats on the SEC title. They got it wrapped up. Playing for a 1 seed in March. Okay. Pretty significant. Kentucky is tied with the next group in the SEC, so they can get a 2 seed in the SEC tournament with a win here. Yeah, game 1, you mentioned fireworks, 195 points, 1.39, 1.24 points per possession. Both teams were on fire. Dillingham at 35 off the bench for Kentucky. It was just two heavyweights exchanging body blows. An awesome game to watch. Matt, I definitely trust Tennessee more, but I still love this Kentucky team's top gear that can really beat anybody in the country. I kind of lean towards Kentucky hanging around in this game. I agree it's going to be an electric game to watch. Their offense is awesome. I lean towards the over as well.
I bet the over. Yeah, I just keep it simple here, right? Like Kentucky games, they look like NBA games most of the time. And anecdotally, I was like, oh yeah, Tennessee at home, like they want to get out and run, and they've been putting up big points in the friendly confines of their own building. But actually, the splits over under are actually more favorable to when they're on the road than when they're at home. I wonder if that's because Tennessee, when they have a lead, when they're up, Barnes isn't as eager to push, where if they're at a deficit, he just lets them go. Yeah, that's when Connect just starts making 30-footers and all that stuff. But I think he makes 30-footers no matter what the score is. I like the over here. Kentucky's defense, again, very square play, very spinny play, but our show is officially Spinny Saturday. Spinnies win 2. Remember that, folks.
That's right, Matthias. Yeah, no, my play, as I said, is Tennessee team total over. So zeroing even more in on that angle, the Kentucky bad defense, the tempo up and down. Not one of my like best bets for the show, but I am wagering on it. And if people want to join me, by all means, come aboard. Do you really want to bet against the Kentucky defense against a good up-tempo offense? I do. Sounds fun. All right, next up, a huge one in the Mountain West. Utah State and Danny Sprinkle playing for the Mountain West title. Bump this one up in the outline because it is for a title. The Aggies laying 3.5 at home at the Spectrum. Matthias, Danny Sprinkle getting all kinds of chatter about being a favorite at Washington. Is that a distraction here for Utah State with New Mexico coming to town? A desperate New Mexico team, I might add.
Yes, I think the Sprinkle stuff negates all my worries with the Lobos, which have been well documented the last few weeks. Ever since the Air Force loss, they've seemed kind of broken. I mean, they got an easy cupcake win over Fresno. That team's basically toast at this point. I don't give much credit for that. They have one on the road this year, right? I know it's a home court's worth $1 million in this conference, but last few weeks, we just saw San Diego State lose outright last night to Boise. We've seen this Lobo team win at Nevada. They've won at Colorado State. I think they get this game tonight. I know it's going to be a crazy environment at the Spectrum, a lot to play for. I haven't done my due diligence in terms of the psychological impact of the Sprinkle 1 foot out the door thing, Kai. I can't think that's a good thing. Along with the desperation angle Jim mentioned, the Lobos, they get this one tonight. And they'll probably let me down, but I think they win this game.
Yeah, kind of crazy. If Utah State loses this game, Nevada might win the Mountain West, which is just something I didn't see coming. Probably few did. New Mexico, they win this game, likely in the NCAA tournament. They lose, and it's very dicey. Need a lot of help. Mountain West tournament wins, all that jazz. New Mexico did take Utah State to the woodshed in game 1. They led by as many as 20. They didn't even shoot that great. They just crushed Utah State weirdly inside. Nelly Jr. Joseph, 26-9, 5 blocks in that game. Just a shocking performance. You expect Great Osabor to kind of hold his own a little bit more than he did in game 1, but perhaps that switches at home here. Utah State, great home court, obviously. 11-1 straight up, 8-4 against the spread. I don't have a huge take on the side here, Jim. I suppose I'm rooting for the Lobos because I want them in the tournament. They're a fun team, but scared to go against Utah State, especially on a short line. I lean towards the over a bit more in this game. Both teams hit over 1.3 points per possession in transition in game 1. I think it'll be pretty high scoring.
Yeah, it seems like why wouldn't this be up tempo? Really totally stop the other. Trust Utah State's perimeter defense all that much against the three dynamic guards of New Mexico. And I think that Junior Joseph performance against Osobor was a little aberrational. Yeah. Not a normal outcome there. So lean towards the over. I think I do lean to the home team. Danny Sprinkle, too good of a coach, I think, to let those whispers come into the locker room and derail any motivation in such a huge home spot. Matt, you talk constantly about how much you love the Spectrum as a home court venue advantage. I think we see that play up today. New Mexico just doesn't strike me as connected. And again, it's the second year in a row where they've faded down the stretch. That might be a Richard Pitino thing and keeping everybody happy kind of thing. So lean to Utah State at home. Now we go to the OVC title game. Kai, the first ticket will be punched tonight. It's always the OVC title game on this Saturday before Selection Sunday, full week before it. We've got Morehead State and Little Rock here. Fun little rematch. First game, Morehead State lost by 1 on the road at Little Rock without Jordan Lathan. He is back. Little Rock, mega talented, bunch of down transfers on this roster that have seemingly come together down the stretch. They got super hot down the stretch and won me a 15-1 conference future. Shout out Trojans. But Kai, with Morehead laying 4 here, taking a little bit of money this morning, what direction are you looking at with this game?
Yeah, a little history perspective for you guys out there. Morehead, last dance 2021, kind of odd because they've been dominant in this conference ever since then, but they haven't been there since 2021. It's been a couple years for Morehead. Little Rock had the top seed in the Sun Belt back in 2020. Tournament axed, obviously, so their last appearance was under Chris Beard back in 2016. I believe they beat Purdue that year in the first round. Pretty shocking upset. But they are the hottest team right now in the Ohio Valley, Little Rock. They've won 10 in a row, 10-1 against the spread last 11. They destroyed Western Illinois yesterday. And Morehead, I still think they're the best team in the Ohio Valley, but they haven't been quite as crisp down the stretch. Still the team to beat. They definitely struggled a bit with UT Martin for most of that game last game, but there's no answer for Riley Minix here. That guy's awesome. Morehead's best player, 29-15 in game 1 against Little Rock. Little Rock, you could argue, Matt, has more raw talent, but there's plenty of talent on both sides here. I think it's more of a toss-up. Honestly, with the money towards Morehead and the spread kind of inflating, I lean towards Little Rock at the current number.
Yeah, Minix went off against Little Rock in the last meeting, I believe. Yeah, last meeting.
29-15.
With Mitchell.
Just like Kai said.
Yeah, with Mitchell still playing. And he's not playing today, it's going to be a huge issue. I don't know what his status is, but if he's out, I think it's a huge.
Well, that could be the
linchpin to
indication
their defense.
for the
So
move, if that's the case.
that's why. But also, Morehead's taken money like the last 4 games in a row. I think someone out there is just clearly betting on Morehead playing like the team they were for 80% of the year. You throw out that stupid, weird segment where they played a million games in a short period of time, lost a few. Lathan's back. I think that it could be that angle too. So the Mitchell thing's important, but I think it could just be more Morehead has been awesome when they've been their full semblance of characters.
Yeah, this is one where I'm kind of leaning towards Little Rock, but there is some bias towards I have a Morehead State plus 160 to win this conference future. So thinking about potentially a little spread hedge there, thread the needle, win both if I can in a close game. That sounds fun. But yeah, Little Rock just has the talent to play up. I bet them in the first meeting at home against Morehead. Did not expect them to win outright, but they did. And now, with as good as they're playing, Kai mentioned 10-1 against the spread down the stretch. This is clearly a talented team that has come together. And Morehead also has that kind of talent, but maybe not quite the same down transfer. Like their best players, an AIA transfer instead of Arkansas recruit. So maybe factor that in. Lean to the dog in that one. Also lean to the under. Conference tournament final. Morehead State's defense is really good. I think that one slows down. All right, Matthew, we'll get to, not Matthew. Sorry, you're not my czar. Kai's my czar.
I'm your czar.
Headed to Chat Mob right now. Make sure you hit the like button, folks. And again, shout out to Circa for sponsoring the show. We'll be out there Sweet 16 weekend, Thursday through Sunday, doing our live shows. We're announcing the winner of our giveaway at the end of this broadcast after our best bets. So stay tuned for that. Got a little random generator with all 1,050 emails that have been submitted. So it's going to be a needle in a haystack if you win. But man, I'd love to see that kind of response. All right, Kai, let's get into the chat questions.
Indeed. Good luck to you out there. Again, stay tuned into the show. Announce the winner there. We're going to start off with the Zanger. A few questions here. Marquette and Xavier. So we're starting off. Yeah, didn't make the rundown. Yeah, Tyler Kolek is out. Matthew, Marquette, is he out? He is out, right? Marquette -3 on the road at Xavier. Still favorite. Your thoughts?
I kind of like Marquette. Even without Kolek, they looked pretty good last game. I think they just roll over Xavier. I know Xavier's at home and they've been awesome at home. That's why I stayed away. But I think everything else was like I walked to the edge of this and didn't bet it. But if you're you, jump off. I think Marquette's a winner.
Yes,
I didn't bet it, but you should. Matthew
yeah,
Cox.
go jump off. So.
A couple questions in the chat here. Zhang, Cody, a lot of guys want to know, Jim. Texas A&M, Ole Miss, obviously pretty huge game for tournament aspirations. Ole Miss favored by 1.5 at home.
Yeah, I'll call this a loser leaves bubble town. If you lose this, you're definitely probably have to win the SEC. I'll say, yeah, definitely. You have to win the SEC. These teams are both outside looking in right now. I like Ole Miss at home. They've been a little bit frustrating here, but Texas A&M just got one win back on the road. I don't trust them away from College Station. Ole Miss for me, Chris Beard and the Rebels at home.
Matt, Ivy action. Cornell, Columbia, the Lions are hosting the Big Red. I almost said Bears because they have a little bear in their logo, but it's the Big Red. Columbia +6 at home. Your thoughts?
Shame that Columbia couldn't crack the top 4 of the year. They're hosting Ivy Madness in a year they had a really fun breakthrough season, but the Ivy's really stinking good. I think Cornell wins today. I think it's close. You'll probably see a 20-point run in either direction. Columbia could be up as much as 10, and then you'll look and 5 minutes later, Cornell will be up 20. Just kind of how the way Cornell games go. But the more important Ivy tilt, Kai, we'll talk about, I'm sure, later. Princeton and Penn.
Indeed. It has not been asked yet, but I'm sure we'll get to it.
Come on, chat mobsters, get on the important stuff. Let's get the good stuff.
From Lyon or Leon, I'm not sure how you want to pronounce your name, but Mississippi State, South Carolina, Jim, back to the SEC. Bulldogs laying 5.5 against the Gamecocks. I'm not allowed to talk about the Gamecocks anymore. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, you're banished. How dare you? I was on South Carolina at the home game way back at the start of SEC play. They got a massive home W against Mississippi State. This one feels undery to me. I know it's a low total, but both these teams constantly are playing up and down SEC teams and having to like try to keep it to a half court game. Now they're playing similar slow down foes. Love the under there, 133 at Circa right now. Probably lean to South Carolina as a dog, getting 5. It's not a team that gets blown out very frequently, and their style doesn't get blown out, but unders is my favorite wager there.
Hey, smash the like button if you would. Got a lot of viewers in the stream right now. Let's go ahead and be stereotypical YouTubers and ask for a like. Matthew, back to you. UNLV, Nevada, your Wolfpack. Again, they win the Mountain West with a win and a Utah State loss. What are your thoughts? Laying 6 against UNLV.
It's my Rebs, not my Wolfpack. I was a Wolfpack guy last year. This year it's the year of the Reb. Man, just think if Kruger didn't lose stupid games in the last 2 seconds to bad teams, they'd be in the at-large picture. I think 6 is too many. I think pound for pound, more talented team is UNLV. I know they've been kind of Jekyll and Hyde, but I think the Rebs win this game today. Injury concerns, obviously. Blackshear, is he 100%? Is he not? How are they evolving Nevada without him or with McIntosh coming back in and being a fireball? I think there's too many changing parts for Nevada. I like UNLV on the road there as a doggy.
I actually like them as a dog too there, Matt, but lean your way there. Nevada. Whew, man, what a team. Okay, I'll take this one. Georgia Southern Appalachian State. I like Georgia Southern, guys, getting the points here. 13.5. Seems high. Conference tournaments, obviously, lean towards the bigger dogs in these cases. Not foolproof, but I do lean their way today against Appalachian State.
I wrote that for Action Network. I wrote up Georgia Southern. They took them to overtime at home, only lost by 10 on the road, shot 54% inside the arc against the league's best 2-point percentage defense. I think Georgia Southern has been a little bit of a matchup kryptonite. I like them too.
Matthew, we're going to talk Arch Madness, our favorite tournament. We're starting off with Bradley Drake from Pat. Drake, 2-point favorites. I'm going Drake. Which way are you going?
Yeah, major revenge. So last year, if you recall, Drake won the tournament. Bradley won the regular season title. So Drake got the revenge over Bradley in the final. So now Bradley gets the revenge back in their favor, I guess. All that bogus aside, I like Drake. I think a better team. I don't trust Bradley. 2, I will lay 2.
All right, Jim, how about ISU Blue, the Trees? You know what kind of side note, I like the Trees. I think it's a cool name, but I don't like how the announcers constantly said the Trees last game for Indiana State. They overused it. They made it not cool when they were talking in the last game. That's neither here nor there. They're laying 7.5 against Northern Iowa, who beat Belmont yesterday.
Yeah, I think I lean Northern Iowa. Matt's noted how well they've been playing lately. Hudson's actually given them that big man hub that their offense typically thrives through. Titan Anderson had like 9,000 rebounds yesterday, set the Arch Madness record for individual rebounds in a game. Northern Iowa's battling. I think they keep that game close. One other note here, I praised Arch Madness unders at the top of the show. This one is like 6 points below the Ken Pom projection.
Yeah, it's
And the Drake
insane.
Bradley total is 11 points below the Ken Pom total. So be careful with Arch Madness unders. I am not betting them today.
11 points, guys.
Yeah.
Come on. Trend. They've been very good this year, but we talked about they were flat last couple of years, so it's not like they've been hitting every single season. Okay, Merrimack, Lemoyne, little NEC action. I'm going back to Jim, Matt. I know you don't care too much about the little guys. Merrimack laying 6.5, 7. Lemoyne, man, number 4 team in the conference. They exceeded expectations this year. What do you think?
Yeah, can Lemoyne pull a Merrimack, Kai? Win the tournament while being ineligible for the postseason, thus sending someone else to the Big Dance, I believe, to be Central Connecticut as the 1 seed in this league. I don't think Merrimack lets that happen. I think they have been the best team in this conference pretty much all season, despite a couple lulls here and there. The season-ending loss at Sacred Heart notwithstanding. I think it's a tough zone prep, relatively quick turnaround. Lemoyne has obviously seen it sometimes. They played them this year, and then Merrimack used to be in the NE10, but that's a long ways back. Merrimack for me, Kai, there.
Matt, big ol' spread. Eric asks about Arkansas at Alabama. The Tide laying 15-ish at home. Thoughts?
176 is the up. 175.5 is the current total. I like the over. I don't think Arkansas gives a flying fuck right now. I just don't think that. So, and Bama will score 100 pretty easy. I think it's 100 to 80 is your final for the over.
All right, you're calling your shot. I love it. Jim, a couple questions about Northwestern and Minnesota in the chat. Graham, I believe, is asking, why is it so short? Why is it only Northwestern 3.5? He thinks it should be higher. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, Minnesota has been a monster against the spread this year, although they've certainly tailed off of late, not been quite as formidable in that the department. Northwestern, I think the spread's lower because of injuries. Matt Nicholson almost certainly out again. He was in a boot last game. That's like their best interior defender. They're better as an underdog, I think. Feisty at Michigan State, but not a team I want to lay over a possession with right now without Barry also out for the season. That's a stay away for me, just given the injury questions and where Minnesota's trajectory has been.
All right, let's do one more Pac-12, Matthew, before we get back to the rundown. A lot of good questions today. Colorado, Oregon State. Colorado looking decent for the dance right now, laying 8.5 on the road at Oregon State in Corvallis. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think they win. I don't think they cover, though. Just Tinkle can be kind of a tough riddle to solve. Throw some mix and match, some zone defense and stuff. And Colorado away from home, we talked about they've just not been as good. I think they win, but I don't think they crush Oregon State.
All righty, let's go back to the rundown. Got a lot more chat mob to hit in round 2, but Jim, take it away.
Yeah, folks, trust Kai. Kai's got it all. The high point, the Memphis or FAU game, we'll hit those. Do not fear. All right, Houston hosting Kansas. Matthew, they're going to be looking for a little retribution here after Kansas was a scalding, boiling lava fireball in Lawrence the first time these two played. Scored like 1.7 points per shot. Everything went in. However, Houston, a little shorthanded off the bench, been having to play a little smaller now with Tugler out with foot surgery. They're laying 8 against the Jayhawks with a seemingly healthy McCullough. Is that too many points for Bill Self?
It does feel like a lot. I gotta think Houston's not happy about what happened at Fog Allen. McCullough sounds like he'll play. He's going to have to sit out a game or two in the Big 12 tournament. I think that's almost like inevitability. That's what Self was saying. You could see a 10% chance he gets announced out close to tip today, and the line comes, or I guess the line would skyrocket in that opinion. I still think 8's too high. Just gut tells me too many points I know Houston's playing. Their games are much more higher scoring, it seems like lately. I mean, the Oklahoma game still is like mind-boggling to me. And I think their defense really is going to see some leakage here, Kai. As good as it is, it's not as invincible as what we saw early in the year and in prior seasons. I think Kansas can exploit it, as it did in the first matchup.
Way too high. It's one of my better bets today, Matthew. Kansas.
Okay.
I love Houston, but it's way too high. They had the Big 12 locked up. They're banged up. Tugler, Francis, obviously. Francis might be on the shelf, might not. He might just be banged up. We don't know if he's in or out today. KU, we know they cleaned their clock the first game. 1.22 points per possession on this defense is astounding. Jim, it's really just a pure number play here. It's too high. Clearly, Houston's been dominant on defense, but Kansas also has arguably the best top 4 in the country in terms of players. I think they can stick around within 8 here against the Cougars.
Yeah, Cougars don't have the edge of depth against a team with no depth. Like it's basically both teams are kind of 4 or 5 deep in terms of high level Big 12 players now, with McCullough looking pretty good. I really like Kansas too. I think they battle keep this one close. Houston could not get the 1 seed if they lose and Texas Tech beats Baylor and Iowa State beats K-State. They would fall to the 2 in a tiebreak. So like they have a little bit of incentive still to win, but man, they've been banged up and not quite as sharp of late. Kansas has been a dog of 7 or more 3 times in the last 20 years, guys. On the road at Baylor in 2021, they covered by half a point. At Kentucky in 2017, they won outright, and then they got absolutely blitzed by Kentucky at home back in 2014. Matt, that was the 38-0 Kentucky team, so I'm okay with discarding that result. I 38-1. Haha, sup, Wisconsin Badgers. I like Kansas. I think Kansas is a real solid bet today. I'm sure Kelvin Sampson, if you tell him after the game you were an 8-point favorite, he'd be like, "What? What is that? You kidding me?"
Definitely.
All right, staying in the Big 12 here. I mentioned this game. Texas Tech hosting Baylor. The Red Raiders laying 2 at home. Matt, kind of a higher total for Texas Tech, 147.5, but without Warren Washington of late, it's been more of an offensive squadron. I mentioned this has relevance to Big 12 tiebreakers, of course, relevance to seeding in the NCAA tournament. Do you think the Bears get it done on the road, a team that's been in a lot of close games in Big 12 play?
Yeah, first one between these two was close, 6-point game at Baylor. Texas Tech and TCU, I'm sort of treating the same way right now. They feel a little bit brittle, a little bit disheveled through some injury concerns and their identity of what they are and how they're trying to play. So I'm not going to bet Texas Tech here. Gut does feel like they get this one at home, just kind of a big one last game of the regular season against the Bears coming to town, who got healthier last game with Langston Love, which is pretty critical. But I still like Texas Tech gut. I just didn't play it because I don't trust this team. Them and TCU don't trust, not betting on or against. That's kind of my policy.
Yeah, Baylor locks into the 3 seed Big 12 tourney with a win, I think, and Texas Tech could get there. I didn't want to do the tiebreaker math, but just know the records are pretty close. I really like this Baylor team, guys. I'm going to say it again. 3 OT losses, 2 more by 1 possession, at BYU by 7. Those are their 6 losses in the Big 12. You could easily see this team being right there with Houston in terms of standings in the Big 12. They've been that good. Tech's been solid. They're obviously a great home team. But we've seen them slip up a couple times at home in conference play. They've gotten beaten outright twice. Baylor took game 1, like Matt said. No Washington then. No Washington now, maybe. I think he matters. Second highest net rating on the team per CBB Analytics. Our friends over there. Tech is in trouble inside without him. Misi is so talented. He's getting better and better. Home floor obviously leans towards Tech here, but I'm kind of eyeing Baylor, Jim, especially if he gets to 3.
Yeah, I'm too. I just think it's got that higher ceiling. I still get very frustrated with their defense. I said it last year. I think they switch out of convenience. Like, oh, a guy got near me for a ball screen, we switched. Like, you don't have to switch. You want to keep better matchups. Their centers aren't especially Ojinwuna, not great on guards, can get blown by, and then you have no help at the rim. That's a disadvantage of switching. But their offense is ridiculously lethal. Ray J. Dennis has been awesome. Shout out to the guy who's just in my mentions or my Twitter replies, every single Baylor game. Like, why don't you like Ray J. Dennis? Right, relax. He's good. And yeah, Texas Tech it's not quite the same team down the stretch here. It is a great home court, though. Mild elevation. Ken Palm's number 1 home court per his advantage rankings. But I'm leaning Baylor there. Think it's a coin flip game. Would love to get 3. We'll see if it ever gets there.
Is that the number? Really interesting. Kai, did you hear that?
What?
Write that down. Number 1 home court on Ken Palm.
Number 2.
Texas Tech.
Oh, is it 2? What's number 1? Is what?
I don't know, but they're number 2. I looked today.
Dang it, Kai. You coming at me with facts. I'm curious now, so I'm checking who is number 1. It is West Virginia, just barely. All right, next game.
Fog is still a tougher place to play, and the record shows.
I disagree.
We've got a Big East game and an ACC game, both with major implications. Kai, we'll start with Creighton at Villanova. One of the most fun games we've ever watched was Creighton at Nova at Wells Fargo when Ethan Wragge just went completely nuclear in the first 5 minutes. This is going to be a big jump shooting game again here. A lot of threes in Villanova games, both on their end and on the opponent's end. Jump shots is basically what Creighton encourages. They want to get in a contest with you because they think they're better shooters, and most of the time they are. But they're a slight road favorite here. The Blue Jays -1.5 for Circa. Any thoughts for you on this game?
Yeah, Nova square in the bubble after that Seton Hall loss. If they lose again, 17-14, pretty ugly. They'd have to win at least one Big East tourney game, or else risk almost certainly being left out of the tournament. So obviously a huge game for them. Creighton quietly humming along. This team's not really talked about often in terms of the grand scheme of things, in terms of teams that can make a push in March. But man, they're just rock solid on both ends. They're going to be the 2 seed in the Big East with a win here. You mentioned game 1 all the way back in December. So kind of throw that one out. Nova won in overtime without Justin Moore. It was pretty shocking. So this game, obviously, 2 sort of different teams right now. Matt, I lean towards Creighton, kind of getting revenge for that game, despite the desperation shot for the Cats. The Jays take away the 3-point shot better than any team in the conference. Jim mentioned that's really what Nova's offense has become this year. It's live and die by the 3. If they're cold, it's really hard for them to win, unfortunately. And that's probably what it comes down to tonight.
Yeah, it's a possible game to handicap. I think the variance on both sides is like, unless you have a really strong shot quality or recent shot making regression angle, I just don't see how you have a strong play here. I like the under, which I guess sounds foolish. If either team is hot and if both teams are hot, I'll be screwed. But man, Villanova has just like as deliberate as it's ever been under the Villanova regime. Like last 5 or 6 games, nothing eclipsing 64 possessions. 61, 61, 60, 65, and a blowout loss that you kind of just got into an exhibition. 60, 64, 64, 61. I mean, just crawls, right? So I think it plays low against Creighton today. Very nip and tucky. A lot on the line for Nova. I think the nerves even cramps the pace even more. So, Jim, I'm kind of taking a swing at a pace under here. 136 just feels too high.
Okay. I wish you well, because I mean, I think all the same variance angles you mentioned on the side are applicable where especially, I mean, Villanova gets a ton of threes. Creighton does a great job of running you off the 3-point line. So maybe Villanova doesn't get the shots they want, and perhaps that dictates a little bit of a Creighton angle, but I'm not touching this game. I think it's really, really difficult to handicap given the reliance on jump shooting on both sides. Last on the rundown, Clemson at Wake Forest. Kai, it's similar. It's similar to Villanova here. A bubble team at home against a team up in that 4-5 seed region would be a huge, huge win. Wake Forest basically needs it, given their 3-game losing streak at this point. They're laying over a field goal here, 3.5, 150. Thoughts on the Deeks and the Tigers?
Yeah, we've kind of declared them dead 3 games in a row, but somehow they are kind of still in the mix for. They're definitely in the mix for a bid, despite the 3-game losing streak. Clemson obviously safe, 4 seed in the ACC tournament with a win. This is the only matchup between these 2 teams this season, so kind of a bit of a rarity in college basketball, especially in conference play. Wake might have solid matchups, Matt, for Clemson, for PJ Hall. Got Andrew Carr, who's mobile-esque, and Efton Reed, obviously a force inside. Perimeter athleticism edge is probably Wake Forest as well. Have to guard Joe Girard. Ask Syracuse a couple games how important it is to guard Joe Girard. Lots of shot makers in this game, both sides. I think it's going to be a pretty fun game. I lean towards Wake getting it done, but it's hard to have confidence in this team after the past 3 games.
Yeah, I lost it with the last one. Like that's not a reason to go the other way here, but it's a reason for me not to bet Wake in a game that I circled probably a week or 2 ago, thinking this is a great spot to back Wake at home. Team they match up seemingly well against in a spot they got to have it, or they've been good all year. But and maybe the Georgia Tech game was a trap game, and even a stronger reason to play this one. I don't know, Jim. I've just kind of lost confidence in Wake after the Duke court storming. I feel like they had a few too many, and the hangover has lasted now what seems like 3 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing you could rely on with Wake was, all right, invincible at home. They've been awesome, covered almost every game, won every game. And then they were asleep at the wheel for the start of that Georgia Tech game. And it just kind of shook all confidence I had in this team. Some of the guys go in and out of being engaged from a game to or within the game from minute by minute basis. I do not have faith in Wake Forest right now. So that's a Clemson lean to me, especially with some of their versatile size. I think can give Wake Forest some issues. All right, that is it for the outline. Reminder, we have got Chat Mob Part 2 coming right now. Lots of questions. Then we've got Best Bets. And then we are announcing the winner of our Circa contest, who will be going to Circa. You'll have to book your flights, but you'll get free hotel stay, day bed, drinks at Legacy Club, a limo tune from the airport. We'll get your information and get you there. So be excited for that. Kai, before we do that, let's get some chat questions in.
All right, we're starting off with Iowa State, Kansas State. The Clones laying 3.5 at the Octagon of Doom. Matt, that's foolish. You know you just can't lay points at the Octagon of Doom in major games like this. It's Kansas State for me. What are your thoughts?
I actually like Iowa State here. I think Kansas State stinks.
I do too, but don't think about it. It's the Octagon of Doom.
Okay, that's fine. You're probably right. No, you're wrong. Iowa State wins by 10 easy. It sucks.
Yeah, I didn't bet it. It is lean towards K-State.
I didn't either. So there you go. Full disclosure.
Okay, Jim, our alma mater is in the toilet. Hooray, hurrah, Mizzou, Mizzou. There's a question, though, about the total in this game. LSU, Mizzou, lean towards the over for me. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I do too. Mizzou's defense was horrific, pitiful, awful against Auburn. The whole thing was, though, they haven't quit. They haven't rolled over on the season. It felt like they did a little bit, which was weird on senior night. Did not love that sign. Also like the over here. Maybe they're just fully reset for, can we win a game or two in the conference tournament? So, yeah, yuck.
Matt, you don't care about the little guys, but you might care about Maine Bryant. I know you kind of have a soft spot for Black Bears and Bryant. Oh, are you? Well, it's come down. It's come down to about 4.5 now. Maine's taking a little bit of money, I believe. Well, is it going up?
Yeah.
I might be delayed. I might be delayed.
It went down, then it came back up. Okay. I did hop in at 4.5 or 4. I think I got a little split ski there.
On Bryant or Maine?
On Bryant, I'm going to lay it with my boys, who I still think are good and going to play well in this format here. The fact that the money came down was odd. I feel like Bryant's not a trustworthy team, given the whole Temple stuff that's been going on recently. I'm sort of a little worried that might be some no, I'm kidding. I'm not going to speak that into the ether. But I did take Bryant. I feel like it's a loser, but there you go. Jim?
Where the Timberlake is out. I think he has a broken hand. So
okay, I like the money right there.
Yes, John. We do have a chili cook-off today. I am hosting. We hope that Matt makes one. We know Jim is making one. I made one. Chili cook-off. Annual tradition. We're going to watch Duke UNC. It's going to be awesome. Arkansas, Louisiana, Jim, Sunbelt. Arkansas favored by 2. Sunbelt tournament action. 4-5. What do you got?
Arkansas State, Kai.
Arkansas State.
Wolves.
Excuse me.
Yeah. I'm just razzing you. I like Arkansas State here. I don't know the status of Themis Folks, the point guard for Louisiana. He missed last game. It was like an undisclosed illness. Just say what it is. Why do we have to not disclose the illness? That was odd to me. There is a little bit of advantage of the Cajuns having played on this court already at Pensacola. This is Arkansas State's first game there, but it's been a pretty good shooting background, and Arkansas State's very reliant on offense. So that kind of points me towards the Red Wolves.
All right, Matt, let's go back to you for some Memphis and your Owls action here. Our former colleague, Alan Boston, likes the FAU Owls here, Matthew. Do you agree? 7.5 now. Wow.
Yeah, I like him first half. I don't know if I trust them to fully put away Memphis by a full touchdown, especially given what we've seen Memphis do in second halves recently when they're engaged. Like, they can terrify you in a hurry. But I do think FAU comes out and hits them first. So I like first half Owls. I think Owls win by like 6, 7, but I think first half they're up like 10.
That's bet Memphis plus 7.5. I just FAU's defense does not have the juice.
Wow.
Memphis has been able to take advantage of it. Looked good in the first meeting. This is too high. Memphis playing well. Seems like maybe some of the players like each other all of a sudden. Memphis getting the points.
All right. Let's keep the pace, fellas. Jim, weird question, but we're the 3-man weave. It's what we do. Fairfield, Mount St. Mary's over is the question?
Genuinely not an angle I thought about today. So I can't give any convincing opinion. Fairfield's kind of an over team.
Yeah, they are. Guard you now.
Since
Guard you, baby.
But it hasn't been as strong since they got Yetna in the lineup pretty late. So he's such a great defender and gives them size. Again, I don't want to give you an opinion because I don't really have.
All right, Matt, let's talk red and blue from Coop, Penn, Princeton, Penn, 6.5 point dogs at home. Their season is over regardless of this game, but this game means a lot for Yale and Princeton vying for the 1 seed in the Ivy. Thoughts?
The red and blue are going to get this game today. Something in my plumes tells me that this is a game they rise and play well. They played well the last 3, by the way, or last 4, I should say, if we're going to be nice about the Harvard result there. But since they got Slatcher back, they've been better. Beat Villanova at home this year. I think they rise and they get a big win at the Palestra. For again, it means nothing for them this year, but just a little spoiler action.
I need to Google this. I think it's in my plums, not my.
It's plums, not plumes. Plumes is not a thing. But I like that he says.
I like it.
I've always said plumes.
Though. Yeah. It's a good bet.
I think he's just pronouncing plums like silly, is what I've always
Correct.
thought.
Plumes.
Yeah. Okay, Charlotte, East Carolina from Gray Jim. Charlotte +2, a dog. Thoughts?
Yeah, I like them. I kind of they haven't been that sharp down the stretch.
Yeah, I
Basically,
don't like
since
them right
Fern got
now.
announced as the permanent head coach, I thought that was going to be a rallying cry team that's actually pretty tight knit. Have not been all that good since. So while I lean their way, their recent play has me staying away from it.
Pirates are.
All right, Matthew, how about Arizona at USC? Arizona laying 8 on the road. I'm seeing some 8.5, 7.5 out there too.
So earlier in the show, I gave a bet that I didn't bet myself. I'll give a bet that I did bet and then tell you to not bet it. I did take USC here +8 at home. I think it's a little high, but they'll probably lose by 20. Like there'll probably be more Arizona fans there in the crowd, arguably.
Definitely.
USC's playing better though. They are playing better lately. Give them some credit.
Similar angle to Tennessee here, where both just clinched the 1 seed in their conference tournament, Arizona and Tennessee, but both still playing for the 1 seed in the big dance. So like do with that what you will in terms of motivation.
Jim, Jets, Pete, Utah Tech, Stephen F. Austin, 11-point spread, big spread. I think he leans towards Utah Tech. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Stephen F. Austin is taking money because they got Kajust back last game, like mega important point guard, and they absolutely smoked their previous opponent. Honestly, not coming to me who it was, but I think they
Utah.
actually
Southern Utah. Yeah.
Who's kind of a hard team to blow out, Matt, or at least they were early in the season. I think Stephen F. Austin trends up in towards the WAC tournament with Kajust back in there. He's like really, really important.
Matthew, Big West, Santa Barbara, hosting Riverside, 4-point spread. Barbara favored. Thoughts?
Yeah, good luck. I enjoy laying points with that team. I love the Magpies. The line is laughably low. I can't take it in good faith, but I do lean the Magpies just based on how shitty Barbara's been, especially at the Thunderdome of all places. Tough to see.
From Kevin, tourney action, Wagner at Central Connecticut. I'm taking Wagner, 6.5, 7-point dog. Yep, tournament setting. That doesn't matter. Wagner for me.
Wagner outright.
Yeah, I think they can win.
That's a good money line sprinkle. I think that's just a who the hell knows game.
Low total.
Low total, right.
Jim, Longwood, High Point. Longwood, very feisty in this tournament. Watch out, man, for Longwood. 7.5, 7-point dog. Thoughts?
Yep, trending back up to their true ability, I think, early in this or preseason, predicted to be very good. I wrote this up for Action Network. I think they hang around, keep this close, potentially win outright. This is lined like a true High Point home game, and I know it's in their venue.
Yeah, but it's not.
But it's like it's not the same court. The crowd's not quite the same. Longwood just played on this court. There's no travel at all. I think 7.5 is too high.
Matt, Big South action. Gardner Webb, UNC Asheville. Asheville pulled off a little scary game last game. They're 3.5-point favorites. Your thoughts? Big South tourney.
Slightly toward Asheville. I can't really get a good read in this conference though. I'm taking Webb. It's up to 4 now. I like Webb at 4.
Yeah, 4 some places. Couple books. Yep.
Lean Webb teams had a war yesterday. I kind of like the under.
Running Webb.
At a spot.
The Rebs should have lost, or Bulldogs should have lost definitely yesterday, but they pulled it out.
That makes sense.
Okay, Furman, Western Carolina. Ooh, what a matchup this is in this SoCon. Furman's a 1-point favorite, basically a pick 'em here. I gut Furman for me. A lot of Western Carolina love in the chat though, Jim.
Yeah, I think just individual talent wise, I kind of like Western Carolina, but Furman's been trending a little up. They're getting healthier. This was Kai for the conference tournament pick 'em pool, the closest to like a close my eyes and guess pick that I made.
Yep.
So I don't have a strong take.
Matt, UMBC and UMass Lowell, the other game in the America East, or one of the other games.
I bet all
8-point favorites.
I bet all the favorites in the A East. So Vermont, Bryan, and Lowell.
Jim, you missed that Bulldog cue for the Gardner Webb Asheville game, but
I know she
and
got
Bryant
out of it.
too.
She woke up.
Ugh.
She woke up. Sorry about that.
Okay.
What a gorgeous
Sorry.
specimen.
I couldn't read my writing at
Absolutely
first,
gorgeous.
but yeah, Campbell Monmouth. A monster 8-9 game. Got all the dogs. The dogs got that dogs in us. Yeah, here we go. Monmouth 5-point favorites. Too high for me. Lean towards Campbell. I do think Monmouth wins, but 5-point spread. I'd rather be on the Camels than that one. Humps.
Agreed, Kai.
Matthew or Ed says BYU Oklahoma State. Kind of weird little game today.
BYU. I think Norman's route them. Yeah,
They're,
youngest team on the road. I think it's kind of a dead spot, roll over spot for the Pokes.
Yeah, they're hosting.
Revenge too. BYU shot like
10%.
10% from three in the first game at Oklahoma State.
Good point. Okay, back to Gray for a question. FIU, 3.5 point, now almost 4 point dogs to New Mexico State at New Mexico State. Jim.
Man, long travel. I'm not sure why FIU cares about this one.
Yeah, I laid it.
I like New Mexico State.
Matt, move George a little bit on the screen in front of your face so people can see him.
Oh,
Thank you.
There it is.
Okay, Virginia. Twofer in the ACC is going to close us out before best bets here. We'll talk Stony Brook too. Stony Brook Northeastern. Let's do that one first. Matthew, you're a Northeastern guy, and you're holding a dog.
I did take Northeastern. I don't feel great about it, Kai, because Sakota may not be 100% healthy or even playing. He's supposed to play, but not healthy.
Yep.
So.
Okay, Notre Dame and Virginia Tech. Jim, Vatech, 10-point favorites. Notre Dame's tough to blow out.
Notre Dame.
Jim froze. I didn't realize that. Notre Dame for Matt.
I hope he's actually not frozen, just playing this off like a Stillman.
Matt, Georgia Tech,
like
Virginia.
Tech. Tech's the most
8-point
inconsistent
dogs.
team in the entire country. I can't figure them out. They have played better against the better teams in that league, though. I kind of like Tech.
They have indeed. Okay, let's do best bets. I hope Jim comes back for the drawing since he is doing the drawing.
That'd be cool.
The Circa drawing. Jim fell. Okay. Don't panic. Jim is going to get back in the chat soon, guys, or the Zoom soon with his phone. Our screen's going to look a little weird for a second here. But
Jim's currently rigging the entire lotto for one of our for someone we like in the chat. So if we don't like you, then you're not going to get picked because Jim's doing some nefarious stuff. Yes, Jim, you may view. No, we'll admit him.
Okay, fear not, chat. The screen looks weird for a second. Now it's back. Jim's back. I'll switch the names around. Jim, you made it. Hi, are you there?
I did. Yes, I'm here.
Fantastic. Let's do best bets. Matthew, do you want to kick us off with best bets?
Yeah, I will. I'm going to take. I'm going to fade the trees. I think the Purple Panthers are really,
wow.
really big ball right now. I see. Does Circa have 8 still? I like that 8, that clean 8. Can I go on record as getting an 8 there? I'd love that. If so, and I also took Furman. I know I'm against Pat in the chat. We had a little best bet war here, but I think Furman wins this game. -1. Furman and UNI. So Furman, the men in fur. I called it the Paladins again on my first show. It's the Paladins, Matthew. Like someday I'll learn how to that and Malachi Malachi, the two that always confuse me.
Yes,
Furman -1
Hooked
and
on phonics.
Purple Panthers. Yes, I need to enroll. And UNI +8. I'll take 7.5 if it's there too, I guess.
Okay, Jim, what do you got?
Memphis +7.5. That is the first one I gave out, and then I promised Jets Pete an extra board under. Gardner Webb, UNC Asheville. I think that's a good under. Gardner Webb defense has been rock solid. Couple of very slow games between for both of these two yesterday. Way under the total. I think we see another kind of rock fight, postseason implications. Two teams fairly evenly matched. Scared of OT, Kai, because I'm always scared of OT. But I think under 146.5 right now at Circa. Good line there on the extra board.
All right. My best bet, man, I was going to give out the Yale under, but it just got steamed. So let's not do that anymore. That line is just banged out right now. I like the Georgia Auburn over. We'll go 150.5. I'm seeing out there. What, Matthew? You don't like that?
I like the under. It's okay.
You like the under of Georgia Auburn. Okay, I'm going over. William and Mary +11.5 against Towson will be one of my best bets as well. Yes. And one more, drum roll please. I'm going with the UMKC Ruse, fellas. -4.5 against Denver.
Wow, you're gonna lay it? I love it. Good for you.
I'm gonna lay it because Tommy Bruner's either out or really banged up, and that matters a ton. His net rating is like +18 on CBB Analytics. He's the leading scorer in the country. They're not going to stop UMKC. They're one of the worst defenses in the country, so they are in trouble if he is out. KC Ruse, fellas.
I have heard he is out.
That's a big deal.
Whispers. Yes.
Oh, Ruse. Come on, baby.
All right. Jim, Circa winner.
It is time. Yes, I'm going to be able to show my screen here. Hopefully it actually works. The internet really crapped out of me, so this is the phone internet. But I have placed all 1,051 emails into the list random picker at miniwebtool.com/random picker. So, ladies and gentlemen, it will be coming from a very randomized place. Nothing rigged here, nothing we can do. Picking one winner right now. Fellas, Kai, this is when we really need the drum roll. This is for 3 free nights at Circa. Picking a random item right now. It is loading. Hopefully that people can see that.
See a little bit. Who we got?
There's our winner. rhofer, CRHS@gmail.com.
Yeah, Roro.
Rofer, CRHS@gmail.com. That is the randomly generated.
Red Rofer. Come on down to.
Does it
Circa
say his name on the entry?
Let me go back to the submission. I'm gonna have to do a control F here, so I got to put you down.
Don't spam his email address. I mean,
Good point. Ryan Hofer is the winner.
Ryan Hofer.
Yeah, hopefully nobody.
Right.
Congratulations. Hey,
We had post editing abilities. We would take out putting his email address on there. But Ryan Hofer is the winner.
Congratulations to Ryan. We
Well
hope
done.
to see you in Vegas. Let us know. We'll send you an email. If for any reason you can't make it, we'll go to the next one. Sound good?
Exactly.
Oh, wow. So potential hope for those of you who didn't win.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we'll wait and find out. And hey, if you did not win, come out anyways. I'm talking to all you in the chat, Pat, Mr. Zhang, Jess Pete. Come on out and hang out at Circa Sweet 16 weekend. You can watch a little baseball too if you're like that, and it's opening weekend. But we got Sweet 16 Elite 8 games. We got best bet shows. We got fun in the sun at Stadium Swim. Come on out and join us. It's going to be fantastic. That's it. That's it for today's show. Thank you, everybody, for entering. I do think we have over 100 games still on the slate, with conference tournament games adding to what was on the regular season one. So the last enormous Saturday of the season. Let's enjoy it. Matt, Kai, and I are going to enjoy some chili together, breaking bread over that. I hope you all win your bets. Matt, give him your sign off. Give it to the people.
Well, whatever happens today, may the 3-point variance be ever in your favor, because as we know, nothing really matters on this show, except, well, did your team make shots and did the other team not make shots? That's all that matters in this dumb business. So that's it. Good luck today, guys.
Cheers.
And I have no chili.
Ah, you bastard.